this, you drop this, you're leaving us. Like, damn, I'm doing this for myself too. Like, we dropped hella projects and we gave them away for free too.
Pacific Division, better known as Pac Div, a Southern California rap group featuring Mibs, Like, and B Young, active since 2006. As been established, the group is probably the most difficult to sustain element of hip-hop. Element of anything, really. Getting multiple pieces to move in sync and in a timely fashion, adding an entertainment industry side to it, leaves not much room for slip-ups or bad decisions made on the group's behalf. Also means fans have to move and grow along with that. For Pac Div, that feat hasn't been easy. Of course, from any perspective outside the group. I'm sure if you ask them, they'll say all the right things that explain their sometimes confusing in and out journey, but there's no question that they had a wave from 2009 to about 2011 that had the potential to solidify themselves within the music industry. Ask 2022 hip-hop fans if they know Pac Div, and most are not sure. Nonetheless, Pac Div did make dope music, especially the ones like Whiplash featuring an opening verse from Like, that to me is his best one yet. Every bar is a timeline of his life, noting the most critical instances of that time, like being a shy, misunderstood kid, to being cheated on later on, his Mary Jane obsession, troubles at school, all leading up to his commitment to rap in a crucial time where music was all he realized he had. Perfect to begin my favorite track from Pac Div. Mibs comes in on the second verse and gives a clear picture of what his perspective and some of his experiences as a young black male in America flawlessly, ending with B Young taking the song through the ills of being the popular figure that many didn't believe in then. Now opportunity is all they see. Or the song Young Black Male, another introspective standout, both from their free mixtape dropped in 2009. The second installment to the free music run they went on at the peak of their career that may or may not have been the best idea. Mixed in those are many different styles of rap, some perfect for the swag era they were in the late 2000s, early 2010s, to songs clearly inspired by traditional hip-hop of the 90s, to the aforementioned that gives you a look into how they viewed real life on the West Coast. Whatever the case, Pac Div had enough of what it took to make it in the industry in a time where the rap collective groups like ASAP, Odd Future, The Pack, and more were the new cool thing to be interested in as a fan. I'm not ready to say they could have been the best group or next big thing, but they had talent as rappers and producers, and individually have great accomplishments as well. Then, for a while, it just ended. That, along with these reasons, stunted Pac Div's growth in music. Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Members Mibs and Like are brothers and also friends with final member B Young. Palmdale, California based, the brothers met B Young in high school and all shared a love for music as well as basketball. It actually started with hoop dreams and really trying to make it to the NBA and out the struggle that way until they realized how much politics and other requirements go with it, so decided to take rap seriously and form a group. Originally, there were 11 members, but the trio we came to know were the ones that stuck with it and believed in the vision. Along with Swifty, in-house producer, the group began to make noise with their debut mixtape Sealed for Freshness, released in 2006 to MySpace, that created a strong hipster fan base when the hipster wave was just starting to become popular. The tape allowed them to do shows and tour, but also led to a deal with Universal Motown that they described as what it must feel like being drafted, but still haven't played a game, so much to prove. First mixtape leading to a record deal? Okay, great. Now what? Stunt number 1, more mixtapes? In my opinion, one of the more unfortunate things to happen to Pac Div's career was the amount of free music they were giving out and the consistency at which they were making this mistake, all while signed to a label. Usually, when you see artists get record deals, you expect maybe one unofficial project or mixtape to be released, or if the artist is that hot, a single or two, then straight into an album. Either way, at least a debut album and possibly ones to follow is what you think will happen until you have a situation like Pac Div. While signed to Motown, they released 4 mixtapes from 2006 to 2011, from their rise in popularity as the new hipster California rap kids on the block to their peak from 2009 to 2011, where they toured all over the world and featured in all the major publications like Billboard, Rolling Stone, XXL, and more, to the realization that it's been 5 years and still no debut album. I think Universal saw Pac Div as basically singles artists, the ones that can produce all this music for little to no expense, seeing as everything they did was in-house for the most part. So we'll take whatever the fans seem to pay attention to more and push it in places for streams and views, downloads, and even ringtones, rinse and recycle this for as long as the members don't realize. We also make money from their shows and merchandise, all while this cost us little to nothing. Back then, it was a lot easier to do that to an artist. Signing a deal was, as like Mib said, like you're now a draft pick and in the league. But you still gotta perform, still gotta play and protect your legacy. Those tapes could have all been albums that, even if didn't do well on the charts, would have made the Pac Div era and signing to a major label a lot more worth it for them to be sitting on 4 official albums. Giving out all that music for free also hurts future financial bottom lines and could have even been what led to doing solo and outside work. Stunt number 2, the hiatus. A high percentage of rappers or groups that didn't become what maybe fans expected is because they didn't understand this very specific growth stunt. It's literally a stunt of growth that you can spin any and every way you want to, but bottom line is that you're not around. You're not moving. Not in the ways the public view you, which are as rappers, a rap group, and entertainers. Your personal life journey doesn't factor into a topic like fans and how they're going to feel about your career. After failing to release an album on Motown in all those years, Pac Div finally decided to leave the label and release their debut album independently, I guess, with the help of RBC and E1 in 2011, called The Div. It was appreciated within their fan base, but by then, some of the muster had worn off behind their name, along with no machine now to push them, and the album didn't do much performing on charts and awards. Another album, GMB, came in 2012 to mixed reviews and some like XXL criticizing the album for having some songs hit the mark and some sound like knockoffs of throwbacks. Regardless, after that album, the guys took more than 5 years off from dropping any music. They came back in 2018 and explained their hiatus by saying they needed time to experience life and watch art from a distance, a natural occurrence. That's fine, but of course, it's not beneficial to a rap career to leave for so long, as fans will grow and will move on. Stunt number 3, on again, off again. Lastly, whenever an act leaves for some time, comes back, then leaves again, it's pretty much a wrap for that act. In Pac Div's case, I think maybe for them as a group, that is probably as far as the ship sails. Of course, you can always release music together and under the name, but the peak is past them and everyone knows and understands it. They all had experience doing solo work anyway. A huge reason they took a break was to focus in other areas, like becoming a noticeable Grammy-nominated producer for Kendrick Lamar, Mac Miller, and others. Mibbs did his thing solo as well, securing movie soundtrack placements and released 2 albums of his own. they came back in 2018 with the First Baptist album and the single Stoked, which it's just me, but I would have loved to hear that song with Mibs Only featuring Schoolboy Q or Mibs Only. Fit his sound perfectly. First Baptist, the album came and went, with the group promising to keep their foot on the gas. It's 2022 now, 4 years into another hiatus, and members looking like from here on out, they may just be doing their own thing. All in all, Pac Div was a solid group with a lot of potential, who's maybe more comfortable as solo artists at this point, and even back then. It would have been nice to see them consistently evolve in music and not take such big hiatuses, also not put out so much free music on a big time label. But for these reasons, that wasn't the case. Salute, much respect, it's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.